welcome to my channel, Krista's So Crafty. Today we're going to be making a pillowcase. I'm going to be using these 3 pieces of material. You really don't need a whole lot of material, just about a meter, but of course I'm using 3 different colors. So as far as the materials, for your main part of your pillowcase, you're going to need 27 inches width of fabric, as well as the width of fabric. So this is the width of fabric here, and I've got 27 inches cut this way. For the top of the pillow, in my case it's going to be the green here, you need 9 inches, and again the width of the fabric. And then we're going to also be adding on a little accent piece, and of that you need 2.5 inches width of fabric. What I have done ahead of time, just to speed this video up a little bit, is I've just taken the 2.5 inch piece and I folded it in half and give it a press, and that's all the materials you're going to need. Scissors, whatnot. I did lay these out on my cutting mat, and I'll show you some pictures. I went ahead and did it before I started videoing, but I did take some pictures showing you that I just lined everything all up and trimmed off the salvages. Now, for this tutorial, I am going to be using my serger for the whole thing, but you do not need a serger. You can definitely just use your regular sewing machine. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is to open up our pieces, and I did give these all a nice press so they're nice and flat. We are going to start with our top of the pillowcase piece, so the 9-inch piece. So the other ones we can just set aside. Now if your material has a right or a wrong side, you want it to have the right side up. In my case, I'm just using green, so it's the same on both sides. So I'm just going to lay that out on my table here. The next step is to take your 27-inch piece and you want to open it up, and again you're going to put it right sides up. So what you need to do is just to line the top edge up and get them all nice and straight. Give this a shake. Of course, I'm trying to work around cords and stuff here, but this is a quick and easy little project. So, and they look so cute, especially if you can find some cute material like I found this one with the elephants and the giraffes and the lions, and I thought it was pretty cute. So we're just going to line these all up across the top. Okay. The next step is to take your accent piece, and this raw edge you want to line up along the top of the raw edge of the other pieces, and you want this all lined up nice and straight. All right, now the tricky part is, well, not tricky. You want to take the other end of your 27-inch piece and you're going to roll it up. So what I like to do is I just take it and I just start making a small roll, so about 1.5 inches, and then just start rolling it in, just like this. Because what we're going to do is we need to tuck this up inside of our 9-inch piece so we can sew around it. Okay, so here we go. We have our piece all rolled up. Now the biggest thing that I need you to watch out for is that you don't roll this up so far that when you go to stitch this, you don't want to catch this in your stitching. So just be careful of that. Like I said, once you get this all rolled up, you want to make sure that it's not too close to the edge of the fabric, to the raw edge, but you do want it in there fairly snug. So again, kind of get it so it's just kind of lining up with our feature fabric here. Now what we need to do is to bring our 9-inch piece from behind and roll it, and we're going to make a sausage. We're going to enclose that rolled up piece inside of our 9-inch piece. And this is where you want to take your pins and pin all along. Use as many pins as you need. I like to put in quite a few just so that nothing moves when I go to sew it. Okay, just going to make sure everything's lined up, and I will just continue pinning all along this whole row. Okay, so here I'm just going to put in my last pin, and so now you can see that all of your material is all wrapped up inside of this tube thing. So now we will take this over to our sewing machine or to your serger, and we're just going to stitch that whole length. So just let me move some stuff out of the way and pull my serger in a bit. So if you are using your serger, of course, be very careful that you remove your pins before it gets underneath your cutter. That would not be good at all. And the serger's quite loud, so I will probably fast forward through most of this. But all I'm going to do is remove that pin. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the edge of my fabric here and I'm running it along so that it's level with the edge of this piece on my serger right here, just so that I'm keeping a consistent seam all the way down and I'm not cutting off more in one spot than on the other. That hurt. Okay, so I'm just about finished on with my serging. Just going to go off to the end here. All right, so we'll clip these threads. And I'm just going to push this back out of the way. Get my little, oh, that went inside my machine. Threads out of the way here. So now comes the fun part. So now you have this big long tube and you're wondering, like, what in the heck are you doing, Krista? Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to reach inside and start pulling the 27-inch piece out from the top of the 9-inch piece on top. So I like to fold the top back a bit and then just start pulling it back, and as you're pulling the 27-inch piece out, I just pull my 9-inch piece down back over, so you're just releasing that from the inside of the tube. So we'll just pull that out. Ta-da! It's kind of fun. I would never ever have thought to make a pillowcase like this, but it works. I've made a few of these now. So, give this a little shake. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the ironing board and I'm going to give this a press, but we're not going to press this yet. We're just pressing the material back away from our little accent piece, the flange, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so one moment. All right, so here we are at the ironing board, and all I'm going to do is lay it out, and I'm going to make sure that my material, so my green, is pulled away from that blue strip. And I'm just going to press that. I'm not pressing up here, just on this little strip here. We'll give that a good press, make sure it's laying down nice. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll take our pillowcase and we're going to turn it over to the back side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull this material away from the white, make sure it's nice and flat, and now we're going to press the whole thing. So we're going to press a nice crease along the top, making sure that our fabric is all pushed away from our stitching line there. This just gives it a nice finish to it, and then it also makes sure that nothing is going to get sewn crooked in the next step. All right, so now everything's nice and pressed. I will meet you back at the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm back at my sewing desk. Our next step is to take our pillowcase and put the right sides together. Just like this. Give it a little shake. The main part of this that you want to match up are these seams right here, right where that little accent piece or the flange is. So how I do that is I just take and I line them both up. I make sure that they are lined up, because you will notice once the pillowcase is done if these are lined up or not. So once they're lined up and I'm happy with it, all I'm going to do is just take a pin and pop the pin in there to hold that in place. Everything should now match up, and we are just going to go and sew all across the bottom and across the side, and once you're done, you're done. Again, I'm going to use my serger, so I'm just going to bring that in here. All right, so I've got my serger set up here. And again, I'm just going to match up the corner of the pillowcase. Make sure it's nice and even. Sorry about my arm in the way there. I'm just going to flip this around and I'm going to stitch. Okay. And again, just put this under the needle, and again I'm lining up the edge of the raw edge of the material to the edge of this part of the serger, and we're just going to go. As you're going, you just want to make sure that your raw edges are lined up, and that's it. We're just going to keep going. We're almost done. When I get to the end, I'm just going to go right off and then start down the other side. I'll give that a little snip. Turn this around. Get this end under the plate, foot, I guess it is. And again, we're just wanting to make sure that these edges are lined up. So I'm just kind of guiding it as I'm going through, making sure that these stay lined up. Now, when you get to your pin, you want to be very careful to take that pin out before it goes under by the blade in there. So I'm going to remove my pin, and I'm just holding my finger here to try to keep that so it doesn't move. I'm just going to trim off these little threads so they don't show, but I'm going to find a pair of scissors that will work properly, that are a little sharper. And then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to trim these off. The nice thing about using the serger to do this part is that it encases all of the seams so that there's no raw edges. It's not going to fray or anything like that. Now, if you do this on your domestic machine, on your regular sewing machine, I would do about 1/4 of an inch seam all the way around, and then I would go back and I would zigzag the edges. The zigzag is going to help to keep your edges from fraying as much. And that's it. We are done our pillowcase. So now all I'm going to do is reach inside and pull it out, give it a little shake. We're going to poke these corners out, just like that. They're pretty easy to poke out. If you want, you can get in there with some chopstick or something. And then that's it, basically. Your pillowcase is all done. Isn't that so cute? I just love how these turn out. I really hope that you try making some of these, because if you've got lots of different fabric laying around and you're not sure what you're going to do with it, this is a perfect way to use it all up. You probably could use jelly roll strip for your little flange, your bonus piece, your accent piece. Again, 9" for the top. Probably could get that out of a scrap of material. And then, yeah, just your 27 inches for the main of the pillow. Have fun with these, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hey, I just wanted to pop on here real quick. So on this pillowcase that I made, I just wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see, I have strings that are in between the 9" piece. So when I folded it, apparently I didn't trim that off, and I was not using my serger at the time. I was just using my regular machine. So my advice to you, because honestly, I'm not going to take this out, I'm not concerned about it, but my advice to you is, if you're using your regular sewing machine, that once you lay it down, you get all the other things folded up, and before you fold it up and you sew it, before you pull the 27" piece out, take some scissors and just trim that. You might even want to do a zigzag in there so that it doesn't continue to fray. Now on the other pillowcases I made, the tops are dark, so you really don't see it. But unfortunately, with this one, the yellow is so light and the blue strings are showing through. So that's just a little piece of advice for you so that you don't have this happening to you. Have a great day. Happy crafting.